Welcome to JOKAKAKA. I'm Jim.
I'm Sam.
And today we're talking about Rohan chapter.
Yeah, with decent audio this time.
Yeah, sorry.
The last one got 500 views somehow and had horrible audio.
So we were talking about this. The last time we put out one of these chapters, it ended up getting like way more views than these ever do.
I know.
And at first, because Sam and I were talking about it, and at first I was like, well, maybe it's because our new video did really well. Our new like JoJolion chapter did well. And then I realized, oh wait, I think you said the new OVA came out. I was like, oh yeah, so people are on, they see the thumbnail, they see a Rohan, or they see like a JoJo art, and they see Rohan episode 2 and the mindless JoJo drones on the internet, just click it, and then they give us downvote dislikes when it's not their precious anime. First off, if you're watching anime on YouTube, like, you're actually in the year 2007, and I have to warn you about some upcoming events.
Hey man, how am I gonna watch my Sasuke versus Naruto to Linkin Park AMV?
Okay, well, AMVs have a place on YouTube. Entire episodes, like, I remember back in the day, I used to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender in 3 parts, because at the time, YouTube videos couldn't be longer than, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be 9 minutes.
So it was like every video, it was 3 parts to every Avatar episode, and it was like 7 minutes each.
Well, back before we even got, like, the first part of Naruto, the Sasuke Naruto on the waterfall, famous, like, battle, like
sex scene.
Japan had it only, and they only could find it like to the background music, to the music. You couldn't find like the actual raw audio. Like, it was without downloading torrents, and I was like, I'm too young to know how to do this. I'm not gonna try put viruses on my family computer to watch.
Yeah, there's a fun story where I almost got a virus because I tried to watch an episode of Avatar, but that's a story for another day. Avatar. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. We were talking about Episode 6 of Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe.
Yeah, this is the 4th chapter because the 3rd one was one we covered the first, because we did the OVA, the first OVA, which is the 3rd manga released of Thus Spoke Rohan. So this
just
is
in the same way where I feel like we probably won't release a video when the new OVA comes out, just because it's so similar to...
Yeah.
Maybe we'll like mention it in a later episode of this, but
or maybe when the next chapter comes out, we'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, for now, this is just gonna be for kind of, and it's like kind of make it up for the last one.
Yeah.
So
this episode is titled "Poaching Reef," and it features a fan favorite character from Part 4.
This is JoJo's poaching adventure, starring Rohan.
JoJo's poaching adventure. Yeah. So this is a really quick chapter.
So what was up like the weird like sign language or
this thing?
Or the weird,
so
like finger thing he was in like the first.
So yeah, that they had that in the first OVA too. I don't know if you remember.
So.
Yeah, and it is a finger stretching exercise.
Of course.
What I presume that Araki does.
Hey, Rohan totally isn't an insert for
All right, let's do it, Sam. Let's do it right now. So you have your wrist at the right angle. Oh my god, that hurts. Fold your fingers down, left hand's going 1 finger slower than your right.
This is great.
One at a time. Okay, so I'm doing it. Oh, it hurts. It hurts, Sam.
You're the drawer. You gotta learn how to do these things.
I have recently started drawing. All right, this is not good podcasting. Then you have to open them one at a time. So basically, this is just torture, and
I mean,
it is just, Rohan is just literally flexing on us, showing how great he is as an artist.
Yeah. Then he goes like him. Well, he's eating food like I've never heard of this food. You
never heard of risotto?
I don't think so.
Okay, so in the very beginning of the chapter, the first image we really see is a forkful of risotto, which is abalone risotto. I think it's pronounced abalone. They're going to be saying it a lot.
Yeah.
Abalone. I'm going to call it abalone. Just like, sound like an idiot American. So risotto is a rice dish that you make generally by...
Of course it's a rice dish.
Well, it's actually an Italian thing.
Okay.
It's risotto. But it is very delicious, actually. I learned how to make it because I just not recently. Well, there was a time in my life where I was like, you know what, I want to learn how to make risotto, and I did. So basically, you take the dry rice, you take uncooked rice, you put it in like a pan, and then you slowly add broth to it over the course of several minutes, while heating it up, of course. Yeah. Which softens the rice and gives it. Still, you have a bit of like a grainy consistency to it. Or what's the word? Like
while it absorbs the broth.
There's more of a texture to it, yeah, while it absorbs the broth. And then, depending on the season, you add a different vegetable or mushroom.
Various
or even meat, I suppose. Like in this,
It's Italian. You're gonna add meat to it.
In this, he puts an abalone, which is a sort of sea snail that becomes the focus of the chapter.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with these creatures.
One thing I think is interesting is like Rohan is tasting it, and then he's like doing the typical thing where it's like, oh, he's talking about it. It makes it look so delicious. And he says that it's so it's abalone in the risotto with winter melon. But then he's like, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's grated Chinese yam. And I'm like, how varied of a flavor profile does this thing have where you could think it tastes like a melon or a yam? It's
gross.
Very interesting.
It does not sound like good. But then his eyes do the crunching up, flushing thing.
Yeah.
If you remember from part 4.
And it is really brutal looking. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Having water just gushing from his eyes.
It's like when you're squeezing, like, you're trying to squeeze the juice out.
Yeah, and... Oh, I know this isn't, like, totally not a visual medium that we're in right now, but I've seen it a lot in this chapter. I like to call it, like, the excited good boy pose that we see a lot since, like, part 7. I know, part 5, or no, Gappy from part 8, or part 8, right?
Yeah,
part 8.
We're on part 8.
Oh my god, I forgot. Gappy does a lot where it's, like, he does this pose where he's, like, kind of, like, standing up from a seat, and his face is, like, wide open, and his chin is high up. It's, like, I don't know. You see it a lot, and Rohan does this, and then we see it a few more times in the chapter. But basically, the main thrust of this is Rohan is eating at Tonio Chisardi's restaurant, and he's like, "Hey, your food's really good. I love it." And he's like, "Yes, I love you, Rohan. You're my boyfriend." And then they kiss.
No.
But no. Basically, Tonio wants to get this special type of abalone that only exists in Morio.
But before that, Rohan gets a glance of a girl in a wheelchair.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
That's very important, though.
It is important, but it's also just like, who cares about the plot of this? It's more like the adventure.
I mean, there's a whole reason, because it's actually giving character to Tonio, which we never got in like the anime, other than being like a chef, a very passionate chef.
Who just loves food. Who traveled the world and seemingly unlocked his stand, not through that use of the arrow, but just because of his passion for cooking, which is amazing.
Yes. I kind of like wish I saw a little bit of Pearl Jam or something, or like just find it behind him.
We see like a frame of Pearl Jam, I think.
I don't know,
for like 1 second, because he talks about how. So basically, what happens is, I don't know if he says it directly to Rohan, but there's a woman who. Oh, he does. He tells him later.
Yeah, that until like after they go on their adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he asks Rohan a favor though. Which is like my favorite part. I think one of my favorite parts of the chapter when you talk to him. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, that's illegal. Like, we're going poaching. He's like, great.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm in. That's probably like my favorite part. Like,
yeah, it's funny. They like it really. I wish this was longer than a one shot, or like I wish it was longer because I love their interaction at the beginning. They have such a good playfulness.
Well, like I said before, this chapter, like compared to the first bunch, it didn't feel like a long one shot adventure. It just felt like kind of like a short chapter where they could have had like a second part to this. But I really wish their interaction was fun, and Tonio, like, this seemed like a whole character for Tonio that you didn't really get in part 4, but then they kind of just like, fuck it, like halfway through.
Yeah. What I think is kind of interesting is how Araki essentially is retconning Tonio. I don't know if he ever says explicitly in part 4 why he's in Morio, but besides, like, you can have the whole stand users attract stand users. But in this, he says the reason why he came to Morio is because, or at least he opened this restaurant up, is because there are the special abalone in Moro, and
the water,
what he calls them the leopard spotted rocks, which is right across from Boing Boing Cape. A nice little
little map, nice little
reference.
Yeah, and like
there's a couple little references in here,
and like they have like the special ones or something like that, and like he just says like he just wants it for food.
Oh, what are they called? They're like the disc abalone or something. They have a specific name that he gives them.
But yeah, my favorite part. He goes, isn't that like we have to, we're going to get it because other poachers go there and like it's just an art to it or something like that. And he's like, but wait, that's getting illegal. But then he goes like,
we're going to poach him.
He like. But yeah, I just love like the face. And it goes like him like saying we can't do that, and then goes like the shaded dark face. Like that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like, Rohan is such a fun character to have as a protagonist. He's so different from, like, especially in the same part, Josuke, who is kind of like a good boy, but he's also just like a shit at the same time. Whereas Rohan is so nefarious in his
Yeah.
plans, and he doesn't really care about humans' well-being. He just wants like an interesting thing to happen to him.
The only actual person he cares about is Koichi, so.
And still, he like puts Koichi through like torturous situations for like the sake of interest
For
in
his
things happening.
or manga.
Yeah. So they're called the disc abalone.
Okay.
Abalone.
Yeah, there's a special one like in the there's a whole map. Yeah, like you said, you get the map and it tells you where there are, and there's guards at certain points and cameras at certain points to stop people from poaching. But like they think, oh, I know a spot we can go.
Yeah. So then,
And there's a special way to do it. There's like an art to it.
pretty much like after this bit, the chapter becomes really repetitive and like no other like exposition really happens. So they go there, and he mentions that they have to go at this specific time because it's when the moon is in the perfect spot and its gravity is like perfectly affecting that little channel or whatever the cape you want to call
They're
it.
saying we don't even have to go get wet to get them. It's easy.
Yeah, like
you don't have to do anything wrong. You can just watch. I just need someone to watch my back.
but yeah, he says he needs like the way lit. So he's essentially
Your
like
flashlight man.
which I think was bullshit. I think he definitely wanted Rohan there for safety because like anything you do in the JoJo universe is going to be dangerous.
He also knows like heaven's doors busted in like multiple ways.
Yeah.
Like,
if I knew Rohan, I would include him in everything because he was like the easiest fucking.
Could heaven's door like say like, I can breathe underwater?
Okay, I was thinking about this. I was actually so basically let's just kind of go through and then we'll talk about this. So they jump in the water due to the swirling tides. All of the abalone are floating about and they're not suction cupped because Tonio says that once they suction onto something, it's really hard to get them off. So then they jump in and then they're gathering tons of them because they're floating everywhere. Rohan notices Tonio's downed. All this bullshit happens. Like they find out the abalone are like sucking onto them and like weighing them down.
Yeah.
And then like Rohan, it looks pretty bad.
Oh.
Rohan ends up. Hold on, I just want to finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wrap it up.
There's one thing in this part I was like, I really want. It's like interesting.
So yeah, Rohan ends up using Heaven's Door on an octopus to like
The natural enemy.
The natural enemy of the fucking abalone. He uses an octopus to rip them off, and then there's a really dramatic cut. Or what's the word? Yeah, the dramatic cut, I guess, where it's like the octopus like goes onto him and like rips off the things, but then it cuts to like, oh no, he's good, and then it's presumed that he used the abalone to
make the god dish to like
feed his wife,
or girlfriend or whatever.
And she's fine. She looks fine in the last.
She's standing up. She's not in the wheelchair.
Her tumor, her grapefruit-sized tumor is gone. I assume.
I think it's way too big of a tumor.
Grapefruit is like fucking humongous.
Just as big as your head.
Like literally half the size of your head.
No, I would talk about like is Tonio's outfit. When you go poaching, it's like he still has his chef hat on, even underwater. The chef hat stays on. And
thank you for bringing that up.
And he's wearing like it might be a weather report's jail outfit without like the writing on it. It's like a tight skin suit with like his fucking chef hat. Like it's ridiculous.
There's an image of Tonio like because he ends up he stops breathing because he's on the bottom of the ocean floor. And he's just laying on the bottom of the ocean floor with his chef hat on, and it looks so silly.
I know.
It's just like, how does this chef hat stay on underwater like that?
Like perfectly.
It looks like it's bolted onto his head.
Budge. But yeah, like Heaven's Door, right? You can now breathe in water, or like I cannot drown. So yeah, I will float up.
That's immediately what I thought.
I will shoot with enough because he's up with Koichi. Like you will shoot for like 4 feet.
Yeah,
like he's like that kind of thing.
He did do that. I think it probably would have been a less interesting conclusion. Having him say like you will float to the surface.
But it's so bullshit, and he's done stuff like this in part 4, where like
even in part 5. Rohan writes on Koichi, you can speak Italian.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Which is like, I know that JoJo's fantasy. I know it's not real, but like there's no like grounding in reality that I can like step foot on when it's like, all right, the laws of physics are being broken by his stance. So I'm wondering if that was like what happens in this chapter is like a reaction to that, to not have something that's too crazy.
I'm guessing because octopus are intelligent creatures, like that's probably why I can write on them. Mm-hmm. And the flashback was like the way he learned that was Okiyatsu talking about octopus.
No.
Like that was after that.
Yeah, that was.
Cause yeah, it's like a really weird, jarring time gap. Where we think, oh, this is where he heard it from, but it's just like the current time gap. It's like really weird.
Yeah. That is a really weird scene.
Because like, you think, oh, this is how we heard about that fact.
That is a hard cut. No, I'm pretty sure this is a hard cut because
it is. I'm pretty sure you're right. But it's just really weird. Like, oh, this is like the conversation you had to learn about how octopuses work, or something. Weird like plot dump, or like or fact dump as they do in JoJo. It is
really weird. It's almost like Rohan has become unstuck in time in this moment. Where it's like he's I don't want to spoil a good movie I was just thinking about, but he's experiencing events from the present and future and past simultaneously to come up to a good solution.
Yeah. They're also eating octopus too.
Yeah. So I you can only assume that what happened was
the natural enemy of the.
So Rohan uses his octopus to save them, but then they just capture the octopus and eat it later.
I know.
that's the natural assumption to be made.
They get the abalone with the octopus because the octopus has them in his hand, so they just carry the octopus who's carrying them.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So could you do Tonio's like why he moved to Morio in part 4? Like, I know he talks about it. So he says his hometown of Naples did not accept his style and was too young to legally be allowed to start his own restaurant by Italian law. So he moved to Japan to the town of Morio, where while competition was harsh, the opportunities were there.
That's really fucking funny that it's like the laws of, because I'm sure that being an immigrant in another country, it's super easy. Like, well, if he's too young to start a restaurant, he's got to be like a teenager, right?
And was his style like the stand?
Maybe.
So I'm trying to see his age is 29 when he was poaching. So that's the only time you get his age, I think.
Well, I think with these, it's safe to assume that they're generally 10 years after, because the last one was about 10 years after. Well, the last one is in the horror one. I can't remember the name. The one on the hill, Makazuka Hill or something.
Yeah. Also, his Italian lover named Virginia.
So I think we can assume that he was probably 19 in the original, or at least around that age, which is just hilarious to me that like this immigrant who's under the age of 20 is coming. It's better for him to open up a restaurant in Japan,
not America.
Yeah, and like it's just bizarre to me that he wouldn't.
It would be great if like in like part 6 he's like the jail chef for like the prisoners. Like that would have been amazing. He's just like transferring across or doing it cross country. Like.
It would be great to see him come back because he's such a joyous character.
But yeah, and that's the only crossover, right? With like Tonio with Rohan.
I'm pretty sure he never shows up again in JoJo.
The one shirtless. The only time you'll see like Rohan shirtless.
Yeah, I love that there's a sequence in this where Rohan's the only way to keep his safety is to get as sexy as possible by throwing his shirt off.
That's the only. I think the only real shirtless, like other than like Funny, like the only shirtless JoJo character I can remember.
Well, JoJolion. She wears like a napkin.
But yeah, there's also Rocky drawing female characters are gonna be like showing them what. Well, I guess her and Trisha like all the skin.
Yeah, Trisha doesn't wear a shirt either.
But I meant like,
you mean like
just straight up like
topless.
Like, yeah, going like showing off their abs like in chest completely.
I don't know.
I remember like pretty much I only remember Funny.
I'm sure there have been. I would be shocked if there weren't.
I
mean all of the fucking Pillar Men.
Yeah, I guess so. They're also like their shirts are just shredded like on them. Yeah.
You mean their abs were shredded?
Their abs were just drawn on like, by cars. But like this just felt really weird compared to this chapter. Like
it does feel really weird. It's very rushed. I really enjoy it, and I love seeing Tonio again. But compared to the
first 3,
yes, they're so different. They're different in ways, but they're also very interesting.
They're all like different encounters with the supernatural, and that was the interesting part where like these weren't stands like 100%, and these were like mythology, like creatures in Japanese mythology.
Yeah, it's like a folklore thing.
Yeah, or like weird occurrences that are happening, and these are just like animals acting weird.
It feels very I think this came out when he was doing Steel Ball Run because it feels very Steel Ball Run where there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily stands that are within.
Well, it's just this whole series felt like the things aren't necessarily stand is weird things beyond our comprehension.
Actually, I just saw a video the other day that I kind of made me like think of that. Mehdi, not the bad guy, did a video about like his whole idea was that the Cream Starter from Part 7 isn't a stand, and even though
meat spray.
What?
The meat spray, right?
Yeah, it's called Cream Starter.
Yeah.
The idea is like that isn't a stand and it's like a mythical object because like in that remember Zombie Horse?
Which one?
Zombie Horse really early on, before they really had like
stand.
Before I think Johnny had really had like Tusk.
Yeah.
Or at least like anything powerful.
Yep.
They end up going. Zombie Horse was sent by like the other Italians to them as like a.
I think I
like
remember.
it's a like a string that you like
Yeah.
close your wounds with.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And it's explicitly like not a stand. And there's a few other things in that part that
that was
are
like that very early part 7 fights they had, where it was basically Gyro doing all the work for them before Johnny could shoot his fingernails.
and it's just I don't know. It's interesting to me. Like this is also like explicitly not a stand thing.
Also, like I found like Mountain Tim kind of like that, where like it was just like a part of his like it was a weird thing, like, part of his body, where
Yeah.
it didn't feel like a stand. It just felt like an extension of an ability.
You can definitely make a case that Araki's stepping away from traditional stand ideas in Part 7.
Yeah, well, that one was more so like there weren't like the physical, like like the punch spirit kind of thing,
Yeah.
where Johnny's like didn't even Johnny got hit, and even Gyro's when he had this for like 2 seconds, where like always that little tiny like manifestation.
Well, Gyro is not a stand user for most of.
I know when he had like the scan, it had a little like like a little mouse kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Gyro is just like not a stand user for most of
He had
Still
like
Around.
here, take it, and then Johnny even had a little pacifier baby. Like if they did manifest, they weren't like an intimidating feature until like Johnny got Act 4 and D4C.
Then it just became JoJo again. That's like explicitly when JoJo like
it became JoJo again, but even then, like it was more so it was focused on more their abilities than the punches.
Yeah.
Other than Act 4, got the last actually got like a aura, but like
there's a few stands that we see like literally once. Like I know that we see Mandem like one time.
Yeah, and what's it called? Poco
Loco. We see that a few times.
Yeah, that one's it's more of like it hides in the shadow, kind of like a creep. He's kind of like a thing where it's just his head, like kind of peeking through a little crevice.
Yeah, it's weird. He's like a little crawl back. It kind of reminds me of the stand. I always forget that jumps on Rohan's back.
Yeah.
What's the name?
The Cheap Trick.
Yes, he kind of reminds me of Cheap Trick.
Yeah,
just like his like demeanor and posture.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it just felt weird this compared to other ones. Not it's definitely the lowest one. Like if it was more like the fun like getting like adventure with Rohan and Tony, like someone you never see like pair up and like Tony got taken out. It felt like it was focused on him like wanting to heal his girlfriend lover like.
And yeah, you're right. He does get taken out way too early.
Yeah.
Like, seeing
it should have been Tonio the one like maybe Rohan goes down like Tonio's like I gotta somehow use my stand like.
That would have been awesome,
Or,
actually.
Like, him like feeding him like special seaweed with Pearl Jam.
Oh my god, that would have been awesome.
To, like help him like get the water out or just flush it out, keep him alive while he's
I
him away.
I love your fanfic ideas. So
I know it would have been like so much more fun, but like and then like even the conclusion like kind of rushed out of nowhere. Like if it was like he's out of a natural enemy, flashback to him like and like the crew is talking about that, and then goes back to like how getting him out with the octopus like. We got it. We can save her. We got the octopus.
If it wasn't for like the continuity and the octopus thing, I would think that I was missing a few pages.
Yeah, I thought what happened. I went back like, did I double click or something, or did I skip a page? Like I don't know. It felt really weird. That first part I liked a lot, but yeah, the second actual like the part supposed to get you on suspense kind of fell off.
Yeah,
and I did not like that much.
Yeah, and as I said before, it is a shame because like you love the bit in the beginning. Like, I loved it. The part when they're chatting and you're just like, yes, this character. I love seeing these characters again.
It's one of the best parts of JoJo are seeing their characters interact. Like, the hero the hero characters interacting is great. That's like, especially part 4, like, some of the best parts, like, Josuke and Rohan's dice game. Seeing them interact, like, these two, like completely, like, opposites interacting.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the fun, like, Johnny and Gyro's, all their stuff, like, Giorno and like basically the entire gang interacting with each other is like probably some of the best parts too.
I definitely agree.
And it is like, I'm just surprised he dropped the ball on the action part on this one. But
yeah,
maybe he was. I'm not sure where he was. Maybe he just wanted to get something out, or just couldn't finish it in time where he wanted to, or just or couldn't think of anything. But
and like even just like action wise, the events feel very repetitive. Like he sees Tonio, and then he's pulled under by a thing.
Yeah.
He goes up to the surface, he's pulled under again. It goes up, and it's like, I'm sure that's very realistic when it comes to drowning.
Yeah. He gets a gasp of air, but, like, Tonio didn't even get a chance to really, like, warn him. He just immediately goes down. Like,
yeah.
I felt like having a warning, or, like, them having to communicate with each other to work together to get out.
Now that we're airing our grievances, there's another thing I kind of want to bring up that is kind of dumb. So why does this help his girlfriend when a regular one wouldn't?
I don't know. He said like just having a special food like eat them. He said it was like a meal for gods, and like there's like if anything could heal, this meal for God with Pearl Jam could maybe fix her up. I don't know. It's part of that like I don't know. That whole supernatural, like maybe this one bizarre, no pun intended, a bizarre thing that can like help her.
I was kind of thinking about this myself, and I was wondering maybe it's like it's a personality thing. It's like because he's investing so much into it, it's only going to work with him.
Another thing,
you know the point you want to say.
He knows Josuke. Did he not ask him to try to like repair her or heal her?
Oh fuck. Also, that reminded me, key detail we missed. So they're poaching from the Higashikatas.
Yeah, forget the little thing that no one actually, like, I guess they just brought up now, like, they actually, like, own part of like, this lake.
So, yeah, that made me, like, I had to, like, think about, like, what happened in part 4, because, like, so Josuke, his dad, or he doesn't know his dad. His grandfather was a police officer.
Yeah.
Why do they have fucking...
Did they live, like, on the...
No.
I don't know.
So are we supposed to believe that Josuke like becomes like a big fish guy, like a fisherman?
Oh, the Higashikata state sound like a lot thing about like part 8, but like
okay, here's my fan theory, Sam.
This is the other universe.
Josuke becomes a car mechanic because I read that once and I loved it. No, so Josuke marries a woman whose family is very wealthy and owns a whole fisher business. And then she takes his last name, and that's why. I don't know. That's the only explainable reason. I don't see how Josuke could become so big that he owns a fucking fish plantation.
I mean, he did make that like $1 million off of the lottery tickets. He had he made like 1,000,000 yen off of the.
But 1,000,000 yen is not enough to like.
I don't know.
These fish are explained to be like the most valuable thing. Also, it makes me mad. Why didn't you just go to Josuke and be like, "Yo, can I have like one?"
I know Prodim didn't work on. Prodim normally didn't work on her, but like I was like maybe Josuke's could, because his repairs to the original state, and I'm thinking that probably would have worked.
Yeah, really.
Like I don't know. At least kind of mentioned like they have 2 of the most OP stands in there that could potentially help or heal. I don't know, man.
Or they could just get Koichi to say splat on her grapefruit-sized tumor and then explode up.
or vanish.
Just erase half her head.
Like a weird comic book noise that doesn't make sense, but just there anyway.
Or no, get what's his face? The hand to just like make half her brain go away.
Just like that's like terrible idea. I'm trying to think of like what like OP stands is like they can use, but like
they could get Silver Chariot to pierce it perfectly.
I don't think they're gonna get the turtle. Not yeah.
Yeah, I forgot he stays as a turtle, doesn't he?
Yeah. Spoilers. By this point, I'm not sure. Not sure where he is in this point in the timeline.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
Only Jotaro knows Ponarf. I don't think he's not in Morio anymore.
Giorno.
But only Koichi knows Giorno. I don't think.
Do you think that Jotaro and Polnareff ever had a meetup afterwards? Sorry, this is becoming like a part.
Multiple parts.
Part like everything spoiler cast. I always put like spoilers for all JoJo parts. So.
I assume Polnareff stayed close with that because I'm pretty sure he works for the Speedwagon Foundation, and since Jotaro's so close with them, like.
Do you think like Giorno just sent them a box of the turtle in it, and they was like, "What the fuck is this?" and they threw the turtle out, and then it was just.
You didn't play Eyes of Heaven, did you? The story mode.
No.
There's some funny.
Does nonsense happen?
There's some fun like talk when Polnareff meets up with like the Part 5 gang.
Oh, that's fun.
Where they're like. We know you, don't you? Like, I don't know.
I think I've seen some of those,
like, you're Mr. Turtle. Like, what?
Mr. Turtle.
What?
All right, let's wrap this up.
But yeah, definitely the worst one. I like the first half. I like, but yeah, definitely the weakest one. I'd rather read the first 3 over this one.
It's really funny because I remember I've read this one and I think the next one are the last ones that I've read up to, and I remember really enjoying this one when I read it, and I think it was just fan service.
Yeah. After
we talked about it and we've really like discussed it, I kind of dislike this more than the other ones.
Yeah, I said the first half is a lot of fun like, before they go on their poaching or actually go poaching, but
yeah. Damn. That's fucking funny.
I would just take a check if it was just all of these characters interacting, like just like them, all the crew having dinner, just interacting with each other, and like. I don't know.
It's kind of like when you see a bad movie and it's really short, so that makes it good. The benefit of this chapter being really short is that you don't really have to think about it too long. You just can enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And the art, because the art looks pretty good. And also, I think the highlight really is like him using the stand on a fucking octopus.
Yeah. And just getting a little bit of character out of Tonio from being just like a one-dimensional, passionate chef character to doing like having a motivation to like being a Morio, like having someone even though she wasn't in the restaurant when Josuke Okuyatsu went there.
Yeah.
Even when Josuke went like behind the into the kitchen and only saw the dog and like he didn't see there's no other woman there.
It's just retcon. Well, I guess it would be weird if she was there because that means she'd be like in the kitchen awkwardly for 10 years.
That's what happened. She was awkwardly in the kitchen when Rohan ate.
Well, that was like, but that's like 10. Like, let's assume that's like 10 years later.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When her thing was like the size of like a cherry.
Yeah.
But
gotta keep the food metaphor or the food.
The tumor to fruit ratio.
All right, I feel literally criminal keeping this longer.
I don't know.
We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah. So I think the next one will be the Gucci one.
Gucci, which we're gonna make an hour long. We're gonna discuss that one for an hour.
You want to talk about that? I hear it's not that. It's the worst.
It's pretty shitty. It is literally an ad for Gucci.
So it's. I think I saw the cover for it. It looks really weird.
It does look pretty good, actually. If you thought this one was bad,
the fashion was very weird.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
The evil stand Gucci.
Rohan Kishibe goes to Gucci.
Yeah, is that supposed to be Rohan or is that a woman? I'm pretty sure it's a woman.
Okay,
because when I just saw her when I the next chapter by accident, I just saw the woman and didn't see Rohan. I was like,
she has boobs, Sam.
It was only the head I saw. Yeah, I only saw the head.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you're like that's what I saw. I just saw the head. Like, what the hell is this?
This is weird. Just a fashion magazine.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Oh, it's an all-color.
It's gonna be.
I assume it's only like 10 pages long, so
we might just have to do 2 for that one if it's that short. If he's gonna give enough to rant about, but I only recommend reading the Tonio talking part and not really.
Yes,
I recommend reading the character interaction, but then after that, like it just if you want to, but it's just a lot of nothing.
I would say read it just because it goes by really quick. You can really skim because there's not much dialogue, and also you get to see a little Okuyasu at the end, which is fun.
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't read it, why are you listening to this, you idiot?
Yeah.
We spoiled it. We spoiled all of JoJo.
Spoiled a lot of stuff.
Funny Valentine gets killed.
Nah, which time?
Oh, several times. Diego Brando is the best JoJo character. Oh,
he's your favorite husbando.
All these hot takes.
He's your favorite husbando, so
yes.
we all know that.
Who's hotter, Gyro or Diego?
Funny.
Funny's pretty hot. Funny's very femme though. He's got a very femme look to him.
But he has that American flag scar on his back, which is like the sexiest thing.
Oh, I love JoJo. All right.
The best husbandos are in part 7.
They really are. It is husbando.
That is a solid statement.
It is the MPP. Sorry.
Girls tend to cosplay better the guys in part 7.
In most parts after 4.
Yeah, so...
Alright, I've been Jim.
Well, do you understand where they can find us at, Jim? You gotta plug that in.
It's never ending. We are on YouTube. Look us up, JOKAKAKA. We also have another podcast called The Nyancast, where we talk about anime. It used to be Cat Girls. You know what? We've kind of just given up on that.
Well, it's a mix.
We just talk about anime now, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. But if there's a Cat Girl stuff, we kind of like we'll put that in the front if it's like a new season.
We'll front load it. Yeah, we front load ourselves with Cat Girls.
I just remember that the Ethan Lied girl had cat ears.
Ethan Lied.
They're
like stone though. They're not like ears. They're like horns.
They're still the shape of it. Close enough.
Yeah, they are like I guess ostensibly.
So we can go back to the year. I would say 2005.
No, I'm gonna say 2000. I'm gonna say 2000. No. 2009. Okay, we're listening now. Alexa, when did Elven Lied come out?
Brain and Alexa.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
She's not a weeb, Jim.
Well, it's German.
Alexa's not a weeb.
It's German.
Alexa's not German though.
She isn't.
I'm gonna say was that early?
I said 2009.
I said 2006. So I'm pretty sure it's about that early 2000s or mid to early 2000s. That's my guess.
Oh, fuck.
Come on, because I remember that was one of those animes that came out like the.
Oh wait, that was OVA.
When
2004.
That's close.
Fuck, it's 2004.
Yeah, it was one of those early edgy ones.
I didn't realize it was that old. I remember I watched it in like 2000.
I watched the first episode when I got Netflix for the first time. I remember watching the first. I was like, you gotta watch the first episode and see heads explode.
I think I watched it on YouTube.
That's a surprise.
This is a fucking
YouTube was the default haven to go to for easy anime videos.
YouTube was the anime haven.
When you get off of YouTube, you go to the danger zones.
Yeah.
So all right, so we'll see when that comes around. But yeah, and expect the chapter in a couple weeks, whenever that night with the 19th. So
Yeah, we've still got 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the 19th.
2 or 3 weeks.
Well, beginning of August, so can't wait because we're actually really excited for the next part 8 chapter. So
Oh boy, I love that fucking dude. That fucking doctor. Doctor. He's great.
So yeah, thank you very much for
Also, Yasuhos menstrual pains.
Oh, well, can't wait to see her Raki's writing of women at the doctors.
Oh, it'll be really good.
This seems to be a heavy female chapter, so we'll see how that goes.
Do you think she's gonna say like, "Oh, I got better"?
It will be better than worse than part 6 is women. Because remember he talked about masturbation with women in part 6.
He's getting there. He's very worldly. He's a very worldly man.
I don't know. I don't think he knows women very well. Women have always been very
Is he
shaky.
married?
I don't know. Can anyone tame that vampire that is Iraqi?
Alexa, is Hirohiko Araki married?
She doesn't know Iraqi.
Well, she
Here's
picked...
something I found on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Good.
Robert Rocky Balboa is
This has been the Nyan Cast. Have a good night.